Hello, it is Coffee with the Wilsons,
Yep.
and we're all the way live in New York City.
New York City, baby.
See our background, see our window in our hotel room, but we wouldn't dare miss coming to talk to people about Coffee with the Wilsons. We
Yes,
still got
sir.
our coffee. We had to go to the little shop around the corner, but it was way too crowded for us to sit in there. We couldn't even hear each other. So we came back to the hotel room, and here we are. Yesterday was my birthday. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday, baby.
So we came here to celebrate. But we're going to jump right in because I know you guys have been anticipating this rest of this story. And it's really not a story. It is what we walked out, what we lived. So when we left off last week, we were talking about we accepted a job in Birmingham and we moved to Birmingham. And that was, well, at the time, it was what we needed to do. But what we're going to say about this segment is what happens next in the next series of events. I think those are things that really like braided us together.
Right.
Because we had to, we learned some lessons. And let me say what I'm going to say the main thing we learned in this portion is that it doesn't matter how anybody else do things. Some people can do make a decision in a split second and it work out. But us, what we've learned, if we're struggling with making a decision, go right, go left, say yes, say no, that's not our
Say it, girl.
We have to walk away.
Yeah, you're right.
Because every time we went against that, every single time we just said, well, we just gonna do this. It was costly. It was costly. It took a lot of prayer. And so what we learned and what we're gonna say, what we're gonna demonstrate, what we're gonna talk about from this particular segment is how Richard and Marquita, if we ain't at peace, if it's taking us back and forth to come together, to come to an agreement on something, we have to shelf that thing. We have to shelf it. If we go against it, it doesn't work for us. But in this segment, I'm now in Birmingham at my aunt's and I've started work. And therefore we're looking for work for him because he's still in Florida packing up the home, getting rid of things and moving things around so that we can make our official transition to Birmingham. And so he got this interview at Social Security Administration, which he was a federal employee, so it's kind of going from federal work to federal work. It would have been great for him. And I'm gonna let him tell you just how that went.
Well, initially it started out great. I believe I had three interviews?
Yeah.
Had 3 interviews. The first interview, the first 2 interviews went great. Actually, you know what? The first 3 interviews, all 3 of them went great. But here's what happened. We could string it along. We're just going to go ahead on and tie it together. The last interview, right? They had a big, more upper echelon manager come and sit into the interview.
District manager, wasn't she?
District manager. She was a district manager, and she would ask me a series of questions, and then the other guy that was there was the manager of the facility. He asked me. They just bounce questions off, and then what happened was, unbeknownst to me, that like I said, the interview went great. But Marquita's aunt, she also worked at the Social Security building that I was going to be working at. And so she had her kind of, I guess, nose to the ground, ears to the ground to find out what was going on. And anyway, she came back and told me that the district manager that came made a suggestion that they hire the ex-TSA guy, which of course was me. And then there was another guy that was there that her aunt informed me he couldn't even fill out his own application. He needed assistance to fill out his own application, which is what the job was, to assist people that were applying for Social Security cards in filling out their applications. Well, anyway, the lady suggested to the manager, hire the ex-TSA guy. He seemed like he's more qualified. Well, what happened, babe?
They picked the guy that couldn't fill out his application. They selected a guy who couldn't even fill out his application to assist other people in filling out an application. So we have our theories. We have our suspicions as to why that went the way it went. We're going to let you think about that for a minute. We could say because one was older, one was younger. We could say we have our suspicions. But needless to say, that didn't happen. But we were so sure. We were so sure, and we was like, yes, this was going to happen.
Yep.
But it all comes full circle, because at the time, the way my husband is wired, had he gotten that job, it would have been real hard to get him to leave Birmingham because of how he's wired. He has a career, he has a job, and he's making the money he wants to make. So what you mean relocate or go anywhere, do anything of that nature? But, you know, this is hindsight talking. We didn't know what was going to happen up the road. But needless to say, he didn't get that job, and so it became a search to find work for him, search to find work. And we found a place to stay, and we moved. We were at my aunt's. Maybe I don't think he ever stayed at my aunt's. When you came, we moved into the house.
Yeah,
the
which
22nd
was another
of
story.
February.
How we got that house, it just was.
But that was odd. I went to see another house on my lunch break, which was this job was around the corner from the house was around the corner from my job. And I went to see another house, and I pulled up in the yard, but there were neighbors outside, and they started talking to me because they were like, oh, you know, are you going to buy this? Are you going to rent this? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, you know, I saw it for rent, and I showed them the rent price, and they said, no, this house don't rent for $1,000. I think it was like $1,000. And it was like, no, this house don't rent for $1,000 over here. I was like, well, this is the listing, whatever. I said, if you see the owner, I gave them my card, have them to call me. So the lady at the corner house came down and was asking questions, and I gave her my card and told her the same scenario. So sure enough, the owners called me. Come to find out, it was fraudulent. Some carpet cleaners came in to clean the house and listed the house trying to get you to pay a deposit. But in hindsight, what happened is I wasn't supposed to get that house. The lady on the corner actually wanted that house, and so she said, well, let me sublease you my house. I said, well, my husband will be here for an interview. At the time, he was still interviewing for the Social Security Administration. And I said, let him, if he comes in and says he likes the house, we'll do it. So Richard came. He liked the house. It was 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right on the corner. Literally, I think it was 0.4 miles from my job. Wasn't even a mile. And so we moved in. The guy didn't ask us for no credit.
No, nothing.
He just asked for the money, and we had the money. And so we gave him the money, and we moved in. And that part was good for us, because at the time, as you know from our last segment, we probably couldn't buy no bubble gum, much less go get a house.
Man, everybody was looking for us.
And then the crazy part is, what we didn't know, unbeknownst to us, we were in like one of the most exquisite areas in Birmingham. We had no idea till we started seeing a bunch of Porsche and Maseratis and Rolls Royces in our neighborhood and at the local stores around there. And then something kind of clicked. Okay, we're somewhere else. But what that did was expose us to a different way of living. So we started thinking different about our future and how we wanted to live and things we wanted to do. And I really think it birthed the whole entrepreneurial newer mindset that we currently have, because we saw that it made it obtainable. Like, it was like, this can be done. And so we continued on. But let me tell you, we had some visitors.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
We had sets of people to come in and live with us, and all of them broke badly, which again was interesting for someone like me who loved to help people and would help anybody. And put myself out there sometimes trying to help people. But I had to learn some things with this. That sometimes my help should have been prayer and prayer alone. My help should have been redirection. But dropping everything, running to save somebody, moving them into our home, I don't know. Some of these people still don't speak to me today. And one of them, I have no idea why. I never pursued why. It was just interesting. And so we did a whole bunch of, I felt like we were being groomed.
Yeah.
There was some trimming needed to happen. Because I'm a fixer. I think I can fix everything. I think I can help at that time. Now, I'm quick to pull back. I'm quick to say, I don't know about that. I don't know how I'm feeling about that. Even now, I have to tell him. He jump out talking about, we're going to do such and such. I be like, I don't know about that. Because we have to, I guess, really learn how to be sensitive to other people's situation. Yes, they may need help, but me running in saving the day may not be the help that's, I guess, ordained for them or needed to help the person get to their next phase of life. And when you do it outside of those kind of parameters, it causes problems. I was stretching myself, and I literally had no peace. The whole time we were in Jacksonville, I had trouble sleeping at night.
Yeah.
Remember? Got to Birmingham and could sleep like a baby. It was interesting. No medication, no nothing. But then as soon as I started letting people move in and trying to help people, and they don't have a car, so I'm trying to take them to work and pick them up, and he trying to take them to work and pick them up around everything we got going on, my peace went away and I couldn't sleep again. And so I had to realize how valuable that peace is. And sometimes we ignore that stuff. We ignore it. But he eventually found something at Kohl's.
Yep, went to Kohl's. I think I just walked in. We were shopping, right?
Yeah.
Walked in and just asked them was they hiring, because, again, fellas, I don't know about you, but I know me. I can't just sit around and do nothing. So I was like, you know what? A piece of a job is better than nothing at all.
Right.
So I just went in and asked them were they hiring, and like the very next day I went and filled out the application, and I was working for Kohl's at the within the end of the week or something like that. Was on the schedule. I think I worked there for what?
A year.
A year, which was interesting. That was interesting, especially when I left there. Now, this is the trip right here. When I left Kohl's because it was a church we was going to at the time. There was a guy there. I fell for another sales pitch again. Anyway, the guy said that this guy's with us selling insurance to lower income elderly people, making $37,000, $4,000 a week, right? So I was like, here I go again. The stuff that I could do for my family with this. Oh, God.
What was remember now, I was off, the minute I heard it was sales, I was off the bus. I was like, I don't think this is a good idea. I was like, I said, babe, this takes some kind of manipulation and a certain form of twisting the truth and bending that I know you're not good at. You're not going to do that. And he was like, but, I mean, what's the alternative? He was, and I got it. I got it from the aspect of he was working part-time, and that just wasn't what he wanted to do, and he didn't want to be in retail. I got it. I understood it. But, oh, man, when I heard it was sales, I was like, oh.
And I'm thinking, I can do this.
And so, again, here we go. This was a place where we weren't eye to eye. But what I did was support his decision. I told him, if you think you can do it, if you think it's something you can do, then by all means, see what happens. You want to tell them what happened?
Again, did it again, failed again at this right here. Because with this, what they do is, I'm just trying to abbreviate it. they give you leads, because obviously you have to have some place to go, know where you're going as far as people to sell their product to. So each week they would give each one of us 25 leads, which we had to pay for those leads, which was $700 a week that you had to pay. So you had to be making the sales in order to be able to afford to buy the leads. Well, I ain't got to tell you what happened. It just got to the point where the debt had gotten too great till we just couldn't afford and we had to drop out the business. Not only myself, there's some other guys that just got hired. They couldn't keep up with the lead charge, so I had to go ahead and drop that. And then after that, I went in Home Depot and I heard that they were hiring, and I just went ahead and got me a job at Home Depot, and that's where I was up until
a few months ago.
November, November.
3 months ago.
Of last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Moral of the story, my husband in sales.
Cause I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Right.
If the stuff jacked up, I'm gonna tell you, man, I wouldn't buy this.
So you can't sell it if you're gonna tell him the truth. I mean, it's just not his nature. And so, moral of that story is, with us was, it was just something we probably should have bypassed.
Let me interject now. Now, if somebody listening to this and you in sales, that's not to say all salespeople are this.
Right.
We're not trying to
We're
say
not
that.
saying that.
But it's a certain, I guess, flavor or vibe you got to have to do that job. And I guess I don't possess that vibe.
No. He's too straightforward, kind, and I really do want the best for you. And that's outside of whatever finna happen to my pocket.
That job was a failure. But you know what? But we're not afraid to fail. That's the only way you can get to where you're going to get. You can't be afraid to do it. So I'm like, hey.
And we didn't go through no, I told you not to do that. We didn't. We just didn't do it. We didn't have that conversation. It was, okay, that didn't work. What do we do next?
I thought we were getting ready to get rich. We went the other direction.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay because, again, it braided us. It braided our relationship. It braided our thought process when it came to how we needed to do things. But that's about all we have time for today.
There's some more.
We gave y'all some meat. Next week we'll give y'all some potatoes. But you know what? Next week, guys, actually, we're gonna do a live recording with a few folks we invited. We're gonna do it at a coffee shop live. So I hope that goes well, and we'll be able to let y'all know how everything went in New York too. It's been real.
Later.
Later, guys.